Welcome to the course on advanced power electronics. So we'll cover today this LLC, multi-resonant and phase control resonant converters. So coming to LLC resonant converters, and these are typically a transformer isolated DC converter based on LLC resonant converter. As you can see, typically here with the bridge, we have a series LC circuit followed by the transformer, then rectifier and the load at the output. So this converter finds applications in offline DC supplies, including charger adapter for laptop computers, and tank capacitor also function as a DC blocking capacitor that ensure transformer voltage can balance, and tank inductors LS and LP can partly or fully be implemented during transformer leakage reactance and magnetizing inductance. So when the converter is properly designed, the transistors can operate with zero voltage switching. So this is typically a tank network, typically as we talk about C, L, S and LP. And under the short circuit condition, tank resonant frequency F0 is 1 upon under root 2 pi under root LS in C. And well, under the open circuit condition, the tank resonant frequency is F infinity 1 upon 2 pi under root LS plus LP into C. So in case of tank input impedance ZI is the series resonant circuit with the short circuit resonant frequency being higher than the open circuit resonant frequency, as you can clearly see from the expression. So at low switching frequency Fs less than F infinity, the transistor operate with the zero current switching for all the loads, and at a high switching frequency Fs greater than F0, the transistor operate with zero voltage switching for all the loads. Over the intermediate frequency F between F infinity to F0, the transistor operate with zero voltage switching at light load R greater than R critical, with the zero current switching at R less than R critical. So the critical resistance R critical is given by R critical equal to R O0 into NF divided by 1 plus under root n 1 plus n in bracket 1 minus F square 1 plus n divided by F square minus 1, where R O is under root LS upon C and equal to LP upon LS, and capital F equal to F S divided by F infinity. So for low switching frequency Fs greater than Fm, the tank circuit exhibits the desirable property that the tank input current decreases as the load current decreases. Operating this converter at high frequency Fs greater than F0 combines the desirable properties of zero voltage switching at all loads and of tank input current that scales monotonically with the load current. So over this range of frequency, the LLC exhibits a conversion ratio less than unity, similar to the series resonant circuit, and in the vicinity of F infinity, the LLC is capable of boost type conversion ratio that can become large at light load. This is typically you can call it tank impedance for the LLC tank network, where we have two resonance frequency. Of course, below that the circuit operates in zero current switching, and higher it operates in zero voltage switching, and in between, of course, depends on the typically the kind of resistance of the load resistance, whether it is greater than or lesser than from your critical resistance which you defined in the previous slide. And this is typically the output plane characteristic of LLC converter, the current versus the voltage. So the adjoining figure illustrates the output characteristic of LLC for Fs lesser than F greater than Fm and less than F0. It can be observed that R0O is less than R critical, so therefore the converter exhibits the desirable property for that the zero voltage switching region includes the match load conditions as well as the open circuit conditions as shown in the figure. So these are typical control plane characteristic of the LLC. So the adjoining figure illustrates typical control plane for conversion ratio M versus F characteristic of LLC resonant converter, and contours for various values of load resistance are shown with the specific choice LP equal to 5 LS. So for low Q with the large load resistance, the characteristic exhibit at resonance near F infinity with the parallel resonant like a boost characteristic, and for large Q with the low load impedance, the characteristic exhibit a resonance at near the F0 with series resonant buck characteristic. And typically here looking the mode of operation, as you can see with the how the typically the current flow through the circuit in this total converter circuit of LLC resonant circuit in primary side of transformer, secondary side. So for power delivery operation occurs twice in a switching cycle. First, when the resonant tank is excited with the positive voltage, so that the current resonate in the positive direction in the first half of the switching cycle, and in the typically in the second occurrence of the power delivery operation is when the resonant tank is excited with negative voltage, so the current resonates in the negative direction in the second half of the switching cycle. So during the power delivery operations, the magnetizing inductor voltage is the positive oblique negative reflected output voltage, and the magnetizing current is charging or discharging respectively, and the difference between the resonant current and the magnetizing current passes through transformer and rectifier to secondary side, and power is delivered to the load. So typically here, I mean, freewheeling mode operation is also during the positive half cycle, as it's shown here, how it really goes in this mode, and that is the mode for typically a freewheeling mode during the negative operation, where energy is not transferred but is circulated in the primary side only. So freewheeling operation occurs following the power delivery operation only if the resonant current reaches the transformer magnetizing current, and this is only happens when Fs is less than Fr, causing the transformer secondary current to reach zero and the secondary side rectifier to disconnect. Consequently, the magnetizing inductor will be free to enter the resonance with the resonating inductor and capacitor. So the frequency of this second resonance is smaller than the original resonant frequency Fr, especially at high value of M, the ratio of total primary inductance to resonant inductance, where Lm much greater than Lr, and thus the primary current during the freewheeling operation will only change slightly and can be approximated to be unchanged for the simplicity. So at resonance frequency operation Fs equal to Fr, you can just clearly see the gate signal as well as the waveform, how it go ILR, then diode current D1 and D4. So for each half of the switching cycle contains a complete power delivery operation. When the resonant half cycle is completed during the switching half cycle, by the end of switching half cycle, the resonant inductor current LR reaches the magnetizing current ILM and the rectified current reaches zero. So resonant tank has unity gain and best optimized operation and efficiency. Therefore, transformer turns ratio is designed such that the converter operates at this point at nominal input and output voltage. Then the above the resonant frequency F is greater than Fr. So each half of the switching cycle contains the partial power delivery operation similar to the resonant frequency operation, but it differs in that the resonant half cycle is not completed and interrupted by the start of the other half of the switching cycle. Hence, primary side MOSFETs have increased the turn of losses and secondary rectifier diodes have hard commutation. So the converter operates in this mode at higher input voltage, where a step down gain or buck operation is required. When below resonant frequency Fs less than Fr, so each half of the switching cycle contains a power delivery operation, and at the time of when the resonant half cycle is completed and the resonant inductor current ILR reaches the magnetizing current, and the freewheeling operation start and carries on to the end of the switching half cycle. Hence the primary side has increased conduction losses due to the circulating energy, and the converter operates in this mode at lower input voltage, where the step up gain and or boost operation is required. So now coming to converter voltage gain. So converter voltage gain is the switching bridge gain into resonant tank gain and into transformer turns ratio Ns upon Np. So that is K as a function of Qm Fx equal to Vo AC as a function of S and V in AC S, and that is equal to Fx square into M minus 1 under root of M Fx square minus 1 square plus Fx square into in bracket F square minus 1 square and multiplied M minus 1 square into Q square. So now coming to converter voltage gain Q equal to under root LR upon CR equal to AC with called quality factor, and RAC 8 upon pi square and P square NS square R0, that is reflected load resistance, and the normalized switching frequency Fx is equal to Fs upon Fr, and the Fr is equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root LR CR, that is resonant frequency, and M equal to LR plus LM upon LR, that is ratio of total primary inductance to resonance inductance. Now coming to steps in designing LLC resonant curve, so we start with the step 1, select the Q max value, then step 2, select the M value, then step 3, find Fx minimum, step 4, find K maximum, and each K maximum required gain, yes, then go to step 5, solve the resonant component value, and then end. If Kmax is not equal to required gain, then no, it means Kmax is less than the required gain. If yes, decrease M value and go back to step 3. If no, then increase the M value and then go to step 3. So typically coming to step 1, selecting the Qmax value. The quality factor depends on the load current. Heavy load conditions operates at high Q value, while lighter loads have lower Q value. As you typically see in the diagram, it is important to set the value for the Qmax associated with the maximum load point. And the ionic figure shows an example voltage gain plot for the different Q value. So it can be seen that the low Q value curve, Q equal to 0.3, can reach higher boost gain, but it is less sensitive to frequency modulation in the above resonance, means Fs greater than Fr region. Hence the switching frequency had to increase much in order to reach the minimum voltage gain K equal to 0.8, causing extra switching losses. And the higher Q value, that is Q equal to 1, can reach the minimum gain K equal to 0.8 with the less switching frequency increase, but unable to reach the maximum gain K equal to 1.2. Therefore, a moderate Q value of around 0.5 seems to be satisfy the voltage gain requirement in the specific case. Hence, adjoining the Q value can help achieving the maximum gain, but increases the frequency modulation range. Now coming to step 2, selecting the M value. Typically for low M value, higher boost gain and narrow frequency range and more flexible regulation with M equal to LR plus LM upon LR as is shown. And for high M value, typically order of M12, the higher magnetizing inductance, lower magnetizing circulating current, and higher the efficiency, as you can see here in the diagram. So the lower values of M can achieve higher boost gain in addition to the narrow range of the frequency modulation, meaning more flexible control and regulation, which is valuable in application with wide input voltage range. And nevertheless, the low values of M for the same quality factor Q and the resonant frequency Fr means a smaller magnetizing inductance LM, hence the higher magnetizing peak current ripple, peak to peak current ripple, and causing increased circulating energy and conduction losses. Hence, start by selecting a suitable resonant initial value for M and then optimize it by feed iteration to get the maximum M value that can still achieve the maximum gain requirement for all the load conditions. And coming to step 3, finding the minimum normalized switching frequency. So after selecting a value of Q and initial value of M, find the minimum normalized switching frequency that will guarantee inductive operation for the Q max for maximum load condition, and that this minimum frequency will also guarantee inductive operation for all the loads. So the minimum normalized frequency occurs at peak gain of the Q max curve, so that it can be found solving your derivative D as a derivative of D with respect to delta Fx as the K is a function of Qm Fx minimum and which is equal to 0. And you can see in the diagram how typically the peak value and the different loading conditions can be seen in the diagram. So step 4, typically for voltage gain verification. So this step is to verify the maximum gain Kmax reached during the maximum load by the selected in M value is adequate. This can be done by solving Kmax equal to K as a function of Qmax, M and Fx minimum. So a feed iteration are needed in order to reach the optimized design as shown previously in the design flowchart. If Kmax is not enough, then we have to reduce the M value and repeat step 3 and 4 in order to gain higher boost gain. On the other side, if Kmax is higher than what is required, in that case we have to increase the M value and repeat step 3 and 4 in order to gain a better efficiency. So now step 5, calculating resonant component value. So after feed iteration of the design flow and reaching the optimum M value, we can now proceed to calculate the resonant tank component value. That LR and CR can be calculated using the expression for QR and FR. So Qmax equal to under root LR divided by CR divided by RAC minimum, and FR equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root LR CR, and then LM can be calculated using the M equal to LR plus LM upon LR. So now coming to typically resonant DC link inverters. So resonant DC link inverter, typically you can see on the diagram. So above figure shows the circuit of resonant DC link inverter. So in resonant DC link inverter, resonant circuit is connected between the DC input voltage and the PWM inverter, so that the input voltage to the inverter oscillates between 0 and the value slightly greater than the twice the DC link voltage. And consider the current drawn by the inverter I0, assuming the lossless circuit at and R equal to 0, the link voltage is Vc equal to Vs in bracket 1 minus cos omega 0 t, and the inductor current IL is IL equal to Vs under root C upon L sin omega 0 t plus I0. So under lossless condition, the oscillation continues and there is no need to turn on the switch S1. However, in practice, there is a power loss in R. IL is damped sinusoidal and S1 is turned on to bring the current in the initial level, and the value of R is small and the circuit is under damped. So under this condition, IL and Vc can be shown as IL equal to I0 plus e to power alpha t in bracket Vs upon omega L sin omega 0 t plus in bracket IL0 minus I0 into cos omega 0 t, and Vc equal to Vs plus e to power minus alpha t in bracket omega 0 L in bracket IL0 minus I0 sin omega t minus Vs cos omega 0 t. And this is typically the waveform for IL and Vc are shown in the above figure. So switch S1 is turned on when the capacitor voltage falls to 0 and is turned off when the current IL reaches the level of initial current IL 0. The capacitor voltage depends on the difference IM1 equal to IL0 minus IO2 instead of the load current IO, and thus the control circuit should monitor IL minus IA2 when the switch is conducting, and the turn off the switch when the desired value of IM is reached. And these are typically the three-phase resonant DC link inverter shown above, and the 6 inverter devices are gated in such a way that to set up periodic oscillations on the DC link LC circuit. And this is the typical waveform of VLK and typically the VAB part of this resonating voltage. So devices are turned on and off at 0 link voltage, thereby accomplishing lossless turn on and turn off all devices. The DC link resonant cycle is normally started with a fixed value of initial capacitor current, and this causes the voltage across the resonant DC link to exceed 2 Vs, and all the inverter devices are subjected to this high voltage stress. Now, typically coming to at the active clamp can limit the link voltage as shown in the adjoining figure, and the clamp factor is related to the tank period Tk and the resonant frequency omega 0 1 upon under root LC by that is T0 omega Tk omega 0 equal to 2 in bracket cos inverse 1 minus K plus under root K into 2 minus K divided by K minus 1 for the K value 1 to 2. Now coming to like a multi-resonant DC-DC converter. So the zero current switching quasi-resonant converters and zero voltage switching quasi-resonant converter optimize the switching condition for either the active switch or the output diode only, but not for both them simultaneously. So multi-resonant switch concept, which is an extension of the concept of the resonant switch, has been developed to overcome the such limitation, and the multi-resonant circuits incorporate all major parasitic components, including the switch output capacitance, diode junction capacitance, and the transformer leakage inductance into the resonant circuit. So this multi-resonant current can be categorized as zero voltage switching multi-resonant converters that called ZVS minus ZVS MRC CS, and zero current switching multi-resonant converter ZCS MRCS. So ZVS MRCS can be called double zero voltage switching converter, and ZCS MRCS can be called double current zero current switching converter. So multi-resonant zero voltage switching converter can be obtained by adding a resonant capacitor CRD in parallel with the rectifying diode to a zero voltage switching quasi-resonant converter, and this resonant capacitors CRS and CRD are connected in parallel with the switch and the diode respectively, and the resonant inductor is connected in series with the parallel combination of the switch CRS and diode CRD. And this is typically zero current multi-resonant converter. You can say LS and C and LD how it is with the diode, and zero multi-resonant converter with typically CS and your CD with the L in between line. So in general, ZVH zero voltage switching half-wave mode is more favorable than the zero current switching in DC-DC converter for high frequency operation, because the parasitic capacitance of the active switch and the diode will form a part of the resonant circuit. And coming to zero voltage multi-resonant buck converter, so you can see here across the switch you have a typically capacitance diode followed by inductor, resonant inductor, and then diode, and parallel to of that we have a CD and LF and CF at the output filter with the load. So above figure shows that the circuit diagram of zero voltage switching multi-resonant buck converter, and typically generally the output filter inductor is very large, and the output filter and the load can be represented as a constant current source and simplified circuit shown in the above figure. So now coming to modes of operation, during one switching cycle the converter can enter 5 different modes: T1A, T1B, T2, T3, T4, and mode T1A, T1B are topological identical, but during mode T1A the inductor current is positive and S1 is conducting, while during mode T1B the inductor current is negative and the diode DS is conducting. So the major difference between the two modes is that during T1A the circuit cannot be controlled by the switch S, while during T1B switch S does not control the circuit. Like, so you can see when switch is closed, operation 1, and switch is open as operation 2. So if the diode VD falls to 0 earlier than the switch voltage VS2, the converter will follow the operation 1, otherwise the converter will follow the operation 2. And this is typically the waveform of your operation 1 and operation 2, how it really goes to inductor current as well as the switch voltage, switch current, as well as typically the diode voltage and diode current. So now for mode 1, for mode 1A for operation, where the switch is closed and how the circuit comes into, and mode 2, mode 1B for operation, where the switch is open and how the really diode comes into picture with the current. So mode 1, in this mode the load current is supplied by the inductor only, and so the diode is in the open position, and now resonant capacitor comes into picture. Then the expression for supply voltage given as VDC equal to L upon dt plus VCD, and differentiating the above equation we get 0 equal to L DIL is d square IL upon dt square plus dVCD upon dt, and at the capacitor current, and the capacitor current is ICD equal to IL minus I0, and that is equal to CD into dVCD upon dt, and substituting dVCD by dt, that becomes like d squared IL upon dt square plus IL upon LCD equal to I0 divided by LCD. So applying Laplace transform, it becomes in bracket S square ILS minus SIL 0 plus in bracket ILS S divided by LCD minus IL dash 0 equal to I0 S LCD. So SIL 0 is the inductor starting current at the time of starting, IL 0 equal to I0, and the IL dash 0 equal to VDC upon L, and that is causes this equation to change in bracket S square ILS minus SI0 plus ILS upon LCD minus VDC upon L equal to I0 divided by LCD, and causes the ILS in bracket H square plus 1 upon LCD equal to VDC upon L plus SI0 plus I0 upon S LCD. As we know, omega d square equal to 1 upon LCD. So this ILS in bracket S square plus omega d square becomes equal to VDC upon L plus S I0 plus I0 L S LCD. And solving for IL, so IL as a function of t equal to VDC upon omega dl sin omega dt plus I0 cos omega dt plus I0 upon omega d square into LCD in bracket 1 minus cos omega t. Since z equal to omega d into L and omega d square into LCD equal to 1, so IL t becomes VDC upon z sin omega d t plus I0, and capacitor voltage can be expressed Vc equal to VDC in bracket 1 minus cos omega 0 t. Now coming to mode 2, the switch open. So in this mode the switch is off position. So during mode T1A, VD is always positive and thus the diode is reverse bias. So therefore only way to terminate mode T1A is the turn off S after the prescribed time Tx, and if VDC upon Z0 is greater than I0, it is possible that at T equal to Tx, the inductor current given is negative. In such situation, diode deconduct and S does not control the circuit, and thus no solution for the given Tx can be found. So if ILTX is greater than 0, S is turned off, and the mode 2 T2 is entered with certain initial condition, that is equal to VDC equal to LDI L upon dt plus VCS plus VCD. So differentiating this equation, we get 0 equal to L DIL d square IL upon dt square plus VD dVCS upon dt plus dVCD upon dt. So as we know, IL upon CS equal to dVC upon dt, and IL minus I0 divided by CD equal to dCV by dt. So this equation become LDI d square IL upon dt square plus IL upon CGS plus IL upon CD minus I0 upon CD equal to 0. As we know, 1 upon CS plus 1 upon CD, if we say equal to 1 upon C, then we can say DIL square d square IL upon dt square plus IL upon LC equal to I0 upon LC into CS upon in bracket CS plus CD. So solving the IL using the methods of Lorentz transform, so it become ILT equal to VDC upon Z into sin omega 0 t plus I0 cos omega 0 t plus I0 in bracket 1 minus cos omega 0 t into C upon CS plus CD. And similarly, the voltage across the switch and diode are given Vs equal to I0 upon omega 0 into CS sin omega 0 t plus omega I0 into t upon CS plus CD minus 1 upon omega 0 I0 CS upon CD into sin omega t plus V in CD upon CS plus CD into 1 minus cos omega t, and VD equal to I0 omega divided by omega 0 C into CD into sin omega 0 t minus I0 t divided by CS plus CD minus 1 upon omega 0 CD and I0 upon CS plus CD into sin omega 0 t and plus Vn into CS upon divided by CS plus CD into 1 minus cos omega 0 t. So now coming to mode 3. In mode 3, in this mode, two operations will take place as discussed earlier. So during this mode, either T3 or T1B will operate, and in the mode T3, the diode voltage will become 0, which later turns the diode into conductive state. Analysis can be done similarly to the previous mode, and the inductor current and capacitor voltage are given as IL as a function of t equal to VDC upon Z into sin omega s t plus I0 cos omega s t, and VCS equal to I0 Z sin omega st plus VDC into 1 minus cos omega st. So coming to mode 4, where the t varies from T3 to 4. So mode T1B terminates when VCD reduces to 0, causing a transition to mode 4. T4. The switch is in closed position and the voltage across the capacitors is 0, and the supply voltage is Vn equal to L dIL dt. So inductor current is IL equal to integral of Vn upon L into dt, or IL equal to Vn divided by L into T. So proper operation as is turned on during T4 before IL becomes negative. So the inductor current increases linearly until it reaches I0, resulting in the transition from T4 to T1A. This completes one cycle of operation. Now coming to the concept of multi-resonant switch can be applied to any one of the conventional converter. A family of non-isolated zero voltage switching multi-resonant DC-DC converter are shown here as a buck converter. So how the capacitors, resonant inductors and other capacitors are connected for. Similarly for the boost, how in parallel of the switch your capacitor and input inductor as well as your diode capacitors are connected. And similarly for buck boost, you have a capacitor in parallel to the switch as well as diode, and then you have a series inductor. Similarly in the curve, so you have a similarly, so here also parallel to the switch you have capacitor, and then input inductor followed by across diode also you have a capacitor like. So these are some typical. Similarly for the CPIC, you have a capacitor in parallel to the switch and parallel to the diode. Similarly in Zeta converter, capacitor is parallel to the switch and typically parallel to your diode. So the concept can be applied to isolated converter to obtain isolated zero voltage switching multi-regional converter, like in flyback. You have a capacitor across the switch and you have a capacitor across the diode. Similarly for forward also, you have a capacitor in parallel to typically, and then typically before that typically the diode. So that makes the resonant converter. Similarly for converter, we have a capacitor in parallel to the switch and in parallel of the diode on the secondary side. Similarly, we have a capacitor parallel to diode and parallel to the switch, and in Zeta converter also capacitor parallel to the switch and parallel to the diode, like. And then coming to half bridge zero voltage switching multi-resonant converter, so you can see here how it is, half bridge is connected and how the capacitors typically across the switch and across the diodes are connected, like to cause the multi-resonant cell. And similarly for forward converter, how the capacitors are connected across the switch as well as typically across the secondary winding, and which really serve the purpose for resonant converter. So similarly, a family of zero current switching multi-resonant converter DC-DC converter obtained by connecting a resonant inductor in series with the rectifying diode in the zero current switching resonant converter, and as a result, a resonant inductor LRS is connected in series with the switch, and a resonant inductor LSD is connected in series with the diode. That resonant capacitor, a resonant capacitor CR is connected in parallel with the series combination of diode and LRD, or with a series combination of switch and the inductor LRS. So in zero current switching multi-resonant converter, both transistor and diodes turn off at zero current. So a family of non-resonant zero current switching multi-resonant converter DC converter are shown here. As you can see how the typically a inductor in series with the switch and diode and capacitor across, the total switch is connected. Similarly in the boost converter, and we have inductor in series and then the capacitor, and similarly in buck boost we have a series inductor as parallel to the capacitor, and in series with the diode also we have inductor. Similarly for CUC and CEPIC and Zeta converter. And similarly the isolated multi-resonant converter also can be obtained by putting a in flyback converter, just have a capacitor and inductor in series, and in diode series also we have inductor. Similarly in forward converter as well as the CUC converter of isolated category. And similarly in CEPIC converter, so we have a inductor in series and parallel capacitor. Similarly in series with the inductor also, and here in Zeta converter we have again the inductor in series and then parallel capacitor followed inductor, the series inductor in series of the diode on the secondary side. So now coming to phase control resonant converters. So fixed frequency phase control DC-DC converter are obtained by cascading phase control full bridge resonant converters and rectifiers that are compatible with these inverters, and the DC output voltage can be regulated against load current and line voltage variation by varying the phase shift between the gate drive voltage of the switching lags while maintaining a fixed operating frequency. And this approach provides high efficiency due to soft switching, minimizing switching loss in the power semiconductor devices. Additionally, the use of resonant components reduces the electromagnetic interference and enables the operation at high frequency, resulting in compact and lightweight converter design. So this is typically an example of how this phase control resonant converters are there, that we connect typically a resonant converter with a typically isolated secondary A, B, C, where we use the half wave, then full wave, and then the bridge converter on the secondary side with the resonant converter on the primary. So a single capacitor phase control full bridge class D 3G converter is shown here in adjacent figure. It is composed of phase control single capacitor resonant inverter and a of class D current driven rectifier. The phase control class D inverter consists of DC input voltage source VI and two switching lags, two resonant inductors L, and one resonant capacitor C, and the coupling capacitor CC. Each switching lag comprises two switches with anti-parallel diodes. So if one of the class D current driven rectifiers is connected in series with the capacitor C as an AC load, a series capacitor phase control series resonant converter is obtained. A regulation of the DC output voltage against the load and line variation can be accomplished by varying the phase shift between the voltage which drive the switching lags while the operating frequency is maintained. And the inverter can be combined with the half wave rectifier, a transformer center tape rectifier, and a bridge rectifier. So coming to like a single capacitor phase control series resonant converter with half wave rectification, the DC-DC voltage transformer ratio of this converter is V equal to V upon VI, and that is eta LR into cos phi upon 5 by 2 divided by under root your n under root 1 plus QL square in bracket omega 0, omega divided by omega 0 minus omega 0 upon omega square in bracket 1 plus 2 Vf upon V0 plus pi square Rf upon 2 RL plus RESR divided by RL in bracket pi square by 4 minus 1. So typically the DC-DC voltage transfer gain for this converter am P equal to V upon Vi. That is your eta R NR cos pi by 2 divided by 2 and under root 1 plus QL square in bracket omega minus omega upon omega 0 minus omega 0 upon omega square in bracket 1 plus V upon V0 plus pi square RF divided 8 RL plus RESR divided by RL in bracket pi square divided by 8 minus 1. And the decision for the single capacitor control resonator as a bridge rectifier, that's the third case, that is equal to MEV equal to V upon Vi equal to NI and TR cos pi by 2 divided by 2 and under root 1 plus QL square in bracket omega 0 upon omega 0 upon omega 0 minus omega 0 upon omega square in bracket 1 plus 2 Vf upon V0 plus pi square Rf upon 4 RL plus RESR upon RL in bracket pi square 8 divided by 8 minus 1. So summary of resonant converter. The resonant converter are used in a high frequency application requiring fixed output voltage. The maximum resonant frequency limited by the turn of times of the thyristor transistor. So resonant inverter allow limited regulation of output voltage, and parallel resonant inverters are supplied from the constant DC source and give the sinusoidal output voltage. And class C resonant inverters and rectified are simple and are used primarily for low power high frequency application. So zero voltage switching and zero current switching converters are becoming increasing popular because they turn on and turn off at zero current or voltage, thereby eliminating switching losses. So the resonant DC link inverters, a resonant circuit is connected between the inverter and the DC supply. So resonant voltage pulses are produced at the input of the inverter, and the inverter devices are turned on and off at zero voltage. So fixed frequency phase control DC-DC converter are formed by a combining phase control full bridge resonant inverter with rectifier that are compatible with these inverter. So multi-resonant converter employing ZVS and ZCS technique for both the main power switch and other passive switching elements such as diodes in the circuit, and these converters use additional resonant element, providing more degree of freedom in design and better performance under the variable load conditions. Now coming to make an example. The example 1, consider a single capacitor phase control series resonant converter with a transformer center tape rectifier. The input voltage varies between 270 to 300 volt. The output voltage is 28 volt. The minimum load resistance connected to the converter is 10 ohm. Assuming the resonant frequency to be 150 kilohertz and the inverter efficiency to be 94%. If the rectifier operates an efficiency of 95%, calculate the input resistance of the rectifier and also the voltage transfer function of the rectifier as well as the inverter. The transformer turns ratio is 2.5. So coming to solution, the input resistance of rectifier is calculated as Ri equal to 8n square RL divided by pi square eta R, and putting the value it comes 553.3 ohm. So voltage transfer function of the rectifier calculated MVR equal to pi eta R divided by 2 under root 2 n, and putting the value it comes 0.422. The maximum required voltage transfer function of the inverter is MVI equal to V0 divided by Ni eta I into Vi minimum and MVR, putting the value comes 0.261. Coming to example 2, the consider a single capacitor phase control series resonant converter with a transformer tape rectifier. The input voltage varies between 180 to 250 volt. The output voltage is 24 volt. The minimum load resistance connected to the converter is a 12 ohm. Assume the resonant frequency to be 100 kilohertz and the inverter efficiency to be 90%. If the rectifier operates at the efficiency of 92%, calculate the input resistance of the rectifier and the values of the inductor and the capacitor. The transformer turns ratio is 3. Assume the quality factor Q equal to 2.5. So the solution is input resistance of the rectifier is calculated as Ra equal to 8n square RL upon pi square eta R, and putting value it comes 95.15. And the inductor value can be calculated L equal to 2 Ri Q upon omega 0, putting value it comes 757.18 microhenry. And the capacitor value can be calculated using the L and the resonant frequency as equal to C equal to 2 upon omega 0 square L. So putting value it comes 6.69 nanofarad. Coming to numerical example 3rd, a phase control series resonant converter with the single capacitor topology operates with the transformer tape rectifier, and the input voltage is 300 volt and the output voltage is 40 volt. The minimum load resistance is 20 ohm. The resonant frequency is 180 kilohertz. With the inverter operating at 94% efficiency, the rectifier efficiency is 94.5%. Given the required value of the tank inductor L and capacitor C, the transformer turns ratio is 2. Assume the quality factor of Q equal to 3. So input resistance of rectifier is calculated as Ri equal to 8 N square RL upon pi square into R. So putting value it comes 107.32 ohm, and the inductor value can be calculated L equal to 2 Ri Q upon omega 0. Putting value it comes 568.4 microhenry, and the capacitor value can be calculated from the value of L and resonant frequency C equal to 2 upon omega 0 square L. So putting value it comes 8.78 nanofarad. So coming to example 4, consider the circuit of half bridge series unit inverter with bidirectional switches with no load resistance connected. The frequency of output voltage is 20 kilohertz. If C equal to 2 microfarad and L equal to 20 microhenry and the supply voltage is 220 volt, the switching time of the transistor is 12 microseconds. To determine the peak supply current, the RMS average device current and the RMS device current, and solution when Q1 is turned on, the equation becomes L dio upon dt plus 1 upon C integral I0 dt plus Vc at t equal to 0 equal to Vs, and with the initial condition I0 t equal to 0 equal to 0 and Vc at t equal to 0 equal to Vc equal to 0. Solving the current I0 t as a function of equal to V S under root C upon L sin omega t, and the capacitor voltage is then described as Vc equal to Vs in bracket 1 minus cos omega t, and resonant frequency omega r equal to 1 upon omega Lc, and omega r putting a value it comes where 158,114 radian second, where Fr is the typical calculate 25.165 kilohertz, and so the resonant period is Tr equal to 1 upon Fr, that is 39.74 microsecond. And for the half cycle period, T1 equal to Tr upon by 2, that is 39.74 by 2, 19.87 microsecond. Moreover, Vc at the omega t equal to pi equal to Vc1 equal to Vs equal to 440, and Vc equal to 3 equal to 0 equal to Vc equal to 0. So peak supply current Ip equal to Vs under root C upon L, that becomes 69.57 ampere, and average device current I equal to F0 0 to pi Ip sin theta d theta, that becomes equal to Ip F0 divided by pi Fr, and putting a value it comes 17.6 ampere, and RMS device current, that is IR equal to Ip under root F0 T1 by 2, and putting value it comes 31.01 ampere. So coming to example 5, a single capacitor phase control resonant converter with a transformer center tape rectifier operates with an input voltage range of 200 volt to 300 volt, and the output voltage is regulated to 30 volt. The minimum load resistance connected to the converter is 15 ohm. Assuming that the resonant frequency is 120 kilohertz and the inverter operates at efficiency of 92%, the rectifier efficiency is 94%, and the transformer turns ratio is 2. Calculate the input resistance of the rectifier, the required voltage transfer function of the inverter for the minimum input voltage, and quality factor Q of the circuit assuming L equal to 800 microhenry. So coming to the solution, input resistance of rectifier is calculated Ri equal to 8 N square RL upon pi square and eta R, and putting value it becomes 51.63 ohm, and the voltage transfer function of rectifier is calculated as MVR equal to pi and NR eta R upon 2 under root 2N. So putting value it becomes 1.042. So maximum voltage required voltage transfer function of the inverter is MVI equal to V0 upon eta I Vi minimum MVR, putting value it comes 0.156, and the quality factor is given by Q equal to omega 0 L upon Ri, putting value it comes 11.68. So coming to example 6, a single capacitor phase control series resonant converter with the transformer center tape rectifier operates with the input voltage range of 220 volt to 280 volt. The output voltage is 48 volt, and the load resistance varies 8 ohm to 12 ohms, and the resonant frequency is 110 kilohertz, and the inverter efficiency is 91%, and the rectifier efficiency 93%. The transformer turns ratio is 3. Calculate the input resistance of the rectifier for the minimum load resistance, the voltage transfer function of the inverter, and the transfer efficiency from the input source to the load. So coming to solution, the input resistance of rectifier for minimum load resistance calculated Ri equal to 8 N square RL upon pi square eta R. So putting value it comes 63.2 ohm, and the voltage transfer function of rectifier is MVR equal to pi NR upon 2 under root N, equal, putting value it comes 0.344, and the maximum required voltage transfer function of the inverter MVI equal to V0 divided by NI V1 minimum into FVR putting value comes 0.697. Energy transfer efficiency from the input to the load is product of the inverter efficiency and rectifier efficiency. So eta total equal to eta I into eta R, and putting value comes your 0.8463, that is 84.63%. Coming to example 7, a single capacitor phase control series unit converter is connected to a transformer with a center tape rectifier. The input voltage varies between 250 volt and 320 volt, delivering an output voltage of 36 volt. The minimum load resistance is 18 ohm and result frequency is 120 kilowatts, with the inverter efficiency being 92% and the rectifier efficiency 91%. If the transformer turns ratio is 2.2, determine the voltage transfer function of rectifier and the input resistance and the inductive value L, assume Q equal to 2.8. So coming to solution, voltage transfer function of the rectifier MVR equal to pi eta R divided by 2 into root 2 n, and it comes equal to 0.455, and input resistance of rectifier I equal to n 18 RL divided by pi square n R, so it becomes like 74.67 ohm, and inductor value L equal to 2 RIQ upon omega 0, so it comes 277.8 microhenry. So coming to example 8, a single capacitor phase control series unit converter with a transformer tap rectifier operates with the input voltage of 300 volt, the output voltage is 50 volt, and the load resistance is 10 ohm. So result frequency is 120 kilowatts and the inverter efficiency 92%, rectifier efficiency 94%. Assuming the output capacitor has a capacitance of C0 equal to 10 microfarad, calculate the input resistance of rectifier, voltage ripple of the output, and the required capacitance to reduce the voltage ripple by 50%. The input resistance of the solution is input resistance rectifier R equal to 8 eta n square RL upon pi square NR eta R, that putting value 34.47 ohm, and the ripple voltage delta V equal to I0 upon FC0 equal to V0 upon RL FC0, so it comes 4.17 volt, and for the ripple to reduce by 50%, delta V nu is 2.085, so C0 nu equal to I0 F delta V nu 0, that comes 20.01 microfarad. So coming to example 9, a single capacitor series resonant converter operates with a input voltage a range of 260 to 300 volt, the load resistance is 15 ohm, and the desired output voltage is 36 volt. The resonant frequency is 140 kilowatts. The inverter efficiency is 92% and the rectifier efficiency is 95%. To calculate the required transformer turns ratio and the input resistance of the rectifier. So solution is the output resistance is output voltage related to the input voltage turns ratio and rectifier efficiency. So V equal to eta R into n, V in minimum divided by root 2, and rearranging for this n equal to V0 root 2 divided by n eta R into V in minimum, and putting value comes 0.206, and for input resistance of rectifier R equal to n eta n square RL upon pi square eta R, putting value comes 0.55 ohm. So coming to example 10, the consider a single capacitor phase control series unit converter with a transformer center tape rectifier. The input voltage varies between 200 volt to 250 volt. The output voltage is regulated to 28 volt. The minimum load resistance connected to the converter is 14 ohm. Assuming the resonant frequency to be 120 kilowatts and the inverter efficiency to be 92%, the rectifier operates at efficiency of 94%. The transformer turns ratio is 2.5. Calculate the input resistance of rectifier, the voltage transfer function of rectifier, the total efficiency of the converter. So coming to solution, input resistance of rectifier R equal to 8 n square L upon pi square n eta R, putting value comes 60.32, and the voltage transfer function of rectifier is calculated as MVR equal to MVR equal to pi eta R upon 2 under root n, and it comes 0.418. The efficiency of the converter is a product of efficiency of inverter and rectifier. So in eta totally an inverter into an rectifier, shifting value in total becomes your 0.8648, that is 86.48%. And these are the references which are used for developing this lecture material. Thank you.